So CSI Works offers some AI products, and these are the products that would be deployed to merchants, to independent merchants that are restaurants, retailers. We prefer retailers, some agents prefer restaurants. And as we're making these pitches for our AI technology, I'm kind of realizing that I need to take a step back a little bit and just provide some basic information about what is AI and how you need to use it, because I feel like a lot of people are being scared right now. Like, they're being told, like, oh, AI is going to take over your job. AI is here. It's standing right next to you. It's breathing down your neck. That's the message. And then you're told, you got to do this, you got to do this. And then I feel like a lot of you are thinking, what is it that I got to do? And how do I do what it is that I got to do? And this is, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you what it is that you got to do and what we're talking about. Because when we're trying to say AI is here, it's breathing down your neck, unfortunately, those things are true. It is a valid fear. And let me just start out by saying that essentially AI will change all our lives, right? No matter what your job is, no matter what your position is, it's going away and something else is coming in its place. It's not like we're all going to lose our jobs and the society will collapse. No, we're going through a huge paradigm shift. That's what's going to happen. Imagine society using horses to travel. The world in that society is giant, huge, right? You could never use, like, without airplanes, your travel from America to Europe is measured in weeks, in months sometimes. And that's a very big world. And then we created cars. The world shrunk because we can travel faster, right? So that's now a completely different world. And then we created airplanes. We can travel faster. And then we figured out internet. And now the world is even smaller. We can connect with anybody at any point on Earth at any time instantly and have instant communication. These are the pivotal moments in our society, and AI is on that level, right? It can do everything we can do. And right now it's confined to the screen, but that's only temporary. This thing is about to get off the screen and roam in space and time with us, with that kind of intellect and knowledge. So again, I'm not trying to scare you, although you should be, and we all are. What I'm trying to do is answer the question what you should do, and give you some practical guidance on how to embrace AI in your everyday life. Because the sooner you do this, the better. Let's get started.
All right, welcome. And I am going to give you some of the most basic guidance on how to use this AI that everybody's been talking about, and perhaps you've been too shy to ask the most basic questions. So to get started, what you want to do is open the browser. You can do this on your computer. I'm obviously doing it on my computer. And you can also find this app on the phone. But let's first cover the computer. So on the computer, you open the browser and you go www.chatgpt.com, right? And when you come in, you do need to register. And one of the easiest ways to register is to do it with your Google account, right? So you can just simply log in with the Google account like so. And now I'm in. Now, this right here is the whole prompt. And if you are older generation, if you remember Google coming out, it was very shocking and awe-inspiring. Like, what do you mean the whole website is just a search? And what do you mean that AI is just this? Like, ask anything, ask what? And so, let me kind of give you an idea of what it is in relation to like a Google search, for example, right? So let's say that you want to know something very factual, like, do I have to file BOI, right? So it's a business ownership information, or what is the current situation for owners of LLC. Okay, very basic, and it's gonna give me. Sometimes it does this. It says you're getting different kinds of responses, and tell us which one you like more. So one of them says, I don't want to guarantee any information. Go to this website, right? And the other one says, here is information. So I prefer this. And the information is, as of April 3rd, the requirement based on the company is to file beneficial information reports has been removed. An interim final rule issued by, all right, and I can say, this is too much text. I still don't understand. Please make it easier for me to understand. And I go, sure. If you own US LLC, you do not need to file a BOI. So it's an interactive search engine, which is smart, right? Like you can think of it that way, but only when you're using it as a search. I mean, there are other uses, and we're going to kind of go through it, but I just want to ease you into it. And, like another thing, like remember before internet, if you wanted to make a road trip plan, you had to open up Thomas Guide, right? It was called, I think, but like there was a book that was a map, and you'd have to sit down and seriously plan out your route to take that trip. Then internet comes out, and before even Google, there was a website called MapQuest where you could put start and finish address, get direction list, print that out, have that with you while you're driving, because we're still talking no GPS. And then when GPS came out, that immediately changed the game, because there were always, like, immediately upon release of GPS capabilities, there were devices. First there were separate devices, then it was quickly integrated into phones. And but this here, like, say you're doing a complex, I want to take a road trip across country, USA country, and I have 20 days. I will start in, let's say, Portland, Oregon, and drive to Portland, Maine. Please give me a breakdown with where I want to stop and explore. I like nature and waterfalls. So, I mean, imagine how little information I'm giving it. It'll say, all right, here you go. Day 1 to 3, Oregon, explore Columbia River Gorge. Day 2, day 3, day 4 through 6, Northern California, Utah. And I'm going to say, all right, well, what can you include start time and drive time and where I will need to book hotels? Right? It goes, okay. Certainly. Here you go. So start at 8 a.m., drive for an hour. Boom. This is what we're going to see. Basically, just go to these places and spend the whole day there, right? Well, it doesn't say how much time. Show how much time I am spending at destinations as well. Okay. So there, it made the whole trip. Right, so here's your 20, and it gave the breakdown for drive time, activity time, total daytime, and so on and so forth. And now you can use this as a planner, and now you have the cities where you need to make hotel reservations. And this took all of what, 3-4 minutes. And that's how powerful that is. There's more to it than that. Uh, get copy of privacy policy. So here's a Microsoft privacy policy, right? And it's a lot of text to read. So what I'm gonna do is just do copy paste, like copy the whole thing chat, and I'm gonna say, help me understand this privacy statement. What are the things I should be concerned with? And now here is the privacy statement. Right. So this is much easier to understand, right? Cookies and tracking, key concerns. AI training, your inputs like what you type into Bingo Copilot might be used to improve AI models, personalized ads, enterprise accounts, um, default settings. Whatever you make on their products is essentially theirs, but you get the idea. So if you were to discern this kind of information from this text, it'd probably take you a minute. I need a simple partnership agreement. File type PDF. All right, so here's a partnership agreement, right? So let's imagine that somebody presented you with this partnership agreement, and you're gonna sit there and read it, or hire an attorney to read it, or you can just come here, paste it. Oh, and by the way, you can also upload like files, right? So you could just download that PDF and throw it in here if you can't copy paste. And I'll just text, like paste it and say, thanks for sharing agreement. Here's the highlight of the some key points of the agreement. And I'm just gonna wait for things to be concerned over. Startup assistance deduction is deducted from partner 2 valuation existing before. Make sure this timeline is acceptable. Undefined terms, the exemption period for partner 2, the timeline for equity transfer for partner 2. It looks like it's heavily geared towards partner 1. Provided, but ownership and access terms are not clearly stated, could lead to conflict. So let me ask you this. How much do you think it would cost to do this kind of review on a contract? And what time will elapse before you get the expert result back? And will it be any better than this? Because you can interact with this and you can say, you know, it's too complicated. I don't get it. Show me only what I need to see and nothing else. And I'll be all right, fine. We can. Okay, but okay, should I sign or not? Get it? So this is another use case. A lot of time is spent on talking about like images, right? And so you're in luck because a very new feature has just recently come out. And let me do this real quick. So I have this image, right? It's just a bunch of devices. And let's say I'm gonna draw, just gonna take a pencil. So I'm gonna draw a person here, right? And I'm gonna draw a person here. And then I'm gonna draw a table, right? Like this, that basically covers, and then we'll do legs like that, right? And then we'll say payments. This is how ridiculous it is, right? So this is me making a flyer. And it's okay that I missed it. It'll fix it. Right. So I'm going to take this now and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to come to this thing and let's make a new chat so we don't confuse it with other stuff. And I'm going to paste this image here. And I'm going to say, help me draw this concept of a flyer for my payments business. And it'll say, got it. I don't know. And it's going to get confused and it'll say, oh, this is what you want. And I'll say, no, please make image. And it'll say, okay, getting started. So it's really just all about prompts now, right? Basically, you have this AI that you can talk to on any level. It understands context, it understands concepts, and it can do things. It and sometimes it misunderstands what you want, so it's up to you to correct it. And starting a new chat is like starting a new thing. It's easier to do that if you're switching like if you're going from legal review to creative, it's better to do it that way. But look at what's creating. Are you impressed? I'm impressed. Funny enough that even 3 weeks ago or maybe a month ago, it was not capable of drawing images where it was putting in words like this. You'd see a bunch of misspelled stuff and like words that don't make sense because it didn't quite understand what we wanted it. And this is a huge, huge, huge improvement. Uh, so this is what it did. And this is what we gave it as an input. So go find a designer and give them this and see how many iterations it'll get to give you that. So this is freaking amazing, I think. And this right here, in a nutshell, AI, LLM, large language model, is what it stands for. Now, let me contextually explain to you what this thing is, right? Like, imagine a 24-year-old kid that has gone to all the universities that speaks all the languages. By the way, this thing, speaks other languages. I forgot to mention that. Please switch to Spanish. Okay, Mexican Spanish, Cuban Spanish. Well, I don't know. Portuguese, right? I'm not really sure how to spell Portuguese, but let's see if it'll understand it. Yep, you got it. Russian. Funny enough, you can misspell things, right? This is insane, right? I will speak English, you respond in 3 languages: English, French, Russian. All right, I am hungry. So, um, I would. Okay, thanks. Now, let me start this new thing, right? And say, I want to start learning a language or fishing. Can you put together a plan for me to follow? I want to learn Spanish. Okay, can you come up with a fun game for me and guide me through the game to learn Spanish by asking me to spend time to play your game through the day? Love it. Let's do it. Here's the game. So it'll make a game for you that you can follow and learn English. Um, and then every time you come here, you can say, hey, I want to keep going with this game. Now, every time you come here and say, I want to keep going with this game, you'd need a paid version because otherwise you won't remember. And, you can grab, like you get a very, very long-winded letter from um, from your homeowners association that talks about numbers, reports, annual this, annual that. You throw that file in there and say, I don't understand. What should I really understand? Like, tell me the highlights. Make sure I know what I need to know. And it'll dissect all of that complexity out and it'll give you the simplified version. And it'll keep simplifying it until you're comfortable with that information. So, this is another very powerful application. Now I'm going to spend a little bit of time sort of explaining to you how, what we're doing with it in our industry, because what I've been talking about so far is just mostly um, what you can do on ChatGPT, right? And you have this thing available to you either on a mobile phone or on a computer like this, and it's a very powerful everything, because as you can see that the range of things that you can do with it varies from writing to creative to legal to emotional to literally anything that could be conveyed over sound or text can be done with this thing. um, what I want to show you next, and this is going to be relevant because of who you guys are. So let me explain this to you. Like, while you guys are learning how to play around with, let's say, this ChatGPT thing, just on this website. So makers of ChatGPT came up with this website, gave us this tool, and we all can log in here and use it. But for us developers, there are also ways of interfacing with this AI on the back end. And what does that mean? Let me give you an example. So this is our product. This is HeyVista.AI, and its function is like a buyer merchandiser or inventory manager. It's basically a tool that enables merchants to properly manage their inventory. There's a ton of use cases for it, right? Like, for example, a merchant always, right? Like every POS that has inventory will also have reports, and the traditional model is that you look at the reports. Well, that's tradition is about to be destroyed. It's not about reports anymore. Now we need insights. Like there's no static report that can just be built on the software level that would accommodate for every use case, for every scenario. But AI can, because it is extremely context driven. And what we're doing is we're taking something like ChatGPT, a thing that can speak any language, a thing that is basically equivalent to a 20-something-year-old that has been to every college in the world, right? So it has a lot of theoretical knowledge, but it has zero experience in the real world. And that is our value add. We take additional like information that we have that is running through our products and feeding that information in way of experience and context and knowledge to our AI and saying, look, now you have all this experience specifically in retail theory, and go ahead and look at this inventory and determine what needs to be improved about it. Which items does the merchant need to stop carrying? Which item needs to be renamed? Which items need to be put on sale? Like, who cares about reports? Just tell me specifically what I need to do with my inventory to increase my sales. That's it. That's really what the merchants want. Everything else is just, getting there, really. And we're just cutting right through it and saying, here it is. And let me just kind of show you how that would work. Like, for example, this product, right? So this Hey Vista might be already integrated into inventory. So on the backend, it already talks to inventory. But if you just come to this website and let's say you grab like an Excel spreadsheet like this that has your inventory in it, right? So here's all your stuff. And you're just going to come here and throw this inventory here and say, give me insights to increase sales, right? So here's the inventory. This is what I want. And now it's just going to take this inventory, analyze it. And what it's analyzing it is about against tens of millions of records that we are cramping into statistical analysis on a quarterly basis, right, throughout United States for same merchants. And so we're finding a merchant with a specific imprint of like a very similar data set of items, and then we're looking at how are these merchants succeeding in sales and sort of reverse engineering the statistical analysis of what items are good, what items are bad for which location, what are the prices, what are the names, and everything else. Now, all of that is done by AI. Our job is to properly frame the data sets for it to consume as experience, right? And this is what you get on the output. It says, okay, so this is the inventory. I read in 139 items. Here are what the items are, right? And here are the prices. And now let me give you some insights. Add plant-based milk alternatives, right? So your inventory lacks plant-based milk alternatives, which is trending strongly with your store demographics. Potential revenues this much, and then if this thing is actually integrated into inventory, then it would actually show you the items that it's talking about. And you could add those items to your inventory. You could reach out to your distributors and say, I want to carry these items. And, you know, this is the next level merchandising technology that doesn't want reports. Like, ask, like, if you are the merchant, I mean, obviously I'm talking to you guys, the agents, but, go talk to your merchants and say, do you really want reports, or do you just want somebody to tell you what to do? Like, if AI technology could tell a merchant, this is what you need to do to improve your sales, to increase your sales, to reduce your expenses, to reduce your perishable drag, um, I guarantee you that most merchants, regardless of their lack of standardization and their wild imagination of how to do business, all of them will agree that I'd much rather just get an insight that tells me exactly what to do, backed by some statistical analysis, rather than just looking at the reports and trying to make sense of it myself, right? And this right here is made possible in part by this right here, because we take this talking, smart talking analytical AI model and throw our statistical analysis on top of it. And by that, I mean for example, 20 million records in 2 months, so 10 million records every month that represent orders processed throughout the United States in basically designated merchant community, right? Like you have consumer good retailers, you have convenience stores, liquor stores, restaurants, Chinese restaurants, these kind of restaurants, regardless. So you can drill down as deep as you want. And this tool has enough um, experiential data, essentially, is what I would call it, to properly guide the merchants on using AI in putting together a kick-ass inventory that wins. So going back to this, to get started, I'd say just go to ChatGPT and start playing around and exploring, how much you can do with this tool. And I showed you some legal capabilities. I showed you some creative capabilities and some planning capabilities. Um, there's more. Sky's the limit. Just think anything that you can talk about, this thing will do. Um, if you need to make a very difficult decision and you just need to get through that, like talk to somebody through that decision, you could do that with AI. It will help you make that difficult decision because you could basically give all of your points to it and ask it to be your devil's advocate, to be your support, to be your whatever. Um, and what we're all talking about when we're saying, you have to start doing this. This is it. This is what you have to start doing because the expectations in the world are changing. When you're given a task, when you're given something, we all now expect that you will go to ChatGPT or you will go to some other AI tool and use that tool to do whatever it is that you need to do. And so where before the expectation was that, whatever the task is, for example, should take maybe 24 hours. Now the expectation is that it shouldn't take more than 10-15 minutes in terms of just getting it done. There's still scheduling question, obviously, but there's no complexity to anything. Anything can just be broken down, simplified in a matter of 10-15 minutes using this tool. You know, I want to understand physics, right? And awesome. Physics is all about. So I have 10 minutes. Teach me all I need to know. Okay, so I have 10 minutes, teach me physics. And it says, okay, challenge accepted. Here are the things you need to that you can learn in 10 minutes if 10 minutes is all you have, right? If you run into a teacher who has a very hard time making difficult decisions, this would be impossible for a human. AI has no problem with it because, the pressure is like, well, how do I combine everything into 10 minutes? What do I let go of? What do I keep? Um, there's no such dilemmas for AI. 10 minutes? Okay, fine. That's a parameter. Let's go. You gave me everything I need to know. I'm going to read and here's my 10 minutes. There's nothing scary about it. What's scary is the unknown. But it is extremely powerful. And this whole technology essentially is a very, very giant paradigm shift in our society. Everything is going to change. Every position, every job. I mean, can you look what I have just done? Like, how many people have I just undercut? And how many people are now going to fail to get paid because I can do this myself here. And if you think that you are protected, you're not. You're just a couple, steps away, um, because AI today is just on the screen. It can be voice activated, but robots are also being developed, and AI with a robot, that's AI in time and space. Not that I'm saying that this is a threat. I'm just saying that this technology is here and it's not conceptual. And I feel that it's incumbent upon us to at least try to embrace it and use it. Because if you're completely going to avoid it, well, then the world is going to become extremely, extremely fast. and very misunderstood, because you're gonna start existing in a void where nothing is happening, right? Like it's like, imagine you today plugging into AM or FM or going to NPR and it being your only source of data. Holy shit, if I'm talking to people that this is the case, you guys are living under the rock, like literally run under the rock. And if you let go of this AI thing, like if you don't use this in your day-to-day activities, you're gonna start wasting money. You're gonna start wasting time, and you're gonna start looking very, very obvious to the rest of the people that are using this technology. And I think this is what everybody is talking about, when they're trying to scare you one way or another. But I'm I don't think I'm doing any justice by scaring you, but at least I'm showing you how to use this, you know. And you guys are part of the community that, we're all part of, the payments industry, merchant services industry. And I feel that this technology in our industry is going to play a pivotal role. Let me show you this other product. So what I've been showing you here is the merchandiser, right? So this is the technology that can help a merchant. Check out the future of commerce. This is right here. So you know how, like, if I were to talk to older generation and say, hey, how do you find out, what's in the area, what's available? They'll say, yeah, yellow pages. You open the yellow pages and you find the cleaner, you find the restaurant, and then you call them, or you go there and you get, you find out what they have. Now, my generation, we go to a website, right? Like we go to Google and we find the website, and we go to the website and we see what they have, and we buy things on websites. Um, we sort of caught this wave where we also buy things on mobile phones, and that's where we are today. What we are looking at here, this is the next generation commerce. There's no website, and let me tell you, your kids, like my kids, the younger generation, I'm thinking like Gen Z and anybody who comes after them, they don't want websites. They don't want to sift through lists of products. They want this um, experience of talking to AI rather, right? So like they don't want to go and scroll through your menus. They'll be like, you know, uh, can you tell me what you have? This is what they want, right? And AI says, here's what we have. And you go, too much. I want soda and pizza, like this, right? It goes, okay, fine. What kind of pizza you want? And I'm gonna, like this, I'm gonna way misspell it, right? And it's gonna say, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your request. And I'm gonna say Mrgherita, like that. Okay, and I understand you like margarita pizza. So, like, it gets to the point, like, it didn't understand this, but it understood this. But what I'm trying to say is, like, this right here is how commerce is going to look a couple years from now. Why do you need to bother making a website where we can give you, like, you can get this, put your entire inventory in it, and then like have a little QR code where people can talk to, like, get this, like go to this website and just chat, or pull it up on their phone inside their chat GPT and just chat and be like, oh, okay, so this is for store so and so. Obviously this is a sample restaurant and only has like a couple of items, but imagine it has 5,000 items, 15,000 items, 20,000 items, and it says, show me a picture, and it shows you a picture, and you say, I'm having a dinner with 15 people, and we are going to have steaks. What should we have for alcohol? And it would give you a recommendation. That is the future of commerce, not sifting through websites trying to find out first what to put with steaks and then find what you want. Like, the time for research is no longer given to you. All of that now is sourced to AI, and our job would basically picking and choosing and making decisions. So That's as far as I know, but maybe even that will eventually change. And again, I'm not advocating for sort of a doom scenario. When I say that every one of us is going to lose our jobs, I'm not actually saying we're going to lose our jobs. I'm saying everything is going to change. Um, you know, I feel like we somehow self-inflict busyness on our society, and it doesn't really matter what carrots we use. Today it's money, tomorrow it's something else, regardless, but somehow we always inflict busyness on ourselves. And I feel like with AI present, we'll find, just the next level acceleration possibility in this, and we'll just do a lot more, a lot faster, and humans will sort of evolve into these um, extremely multitasking creatures that can run. And you're already seeing that, right? Like, I mean, in the 80s, the Jack Welch era, it was unthinkable for a person to admit that, he's a CEO of one company and is also involved in something else. That was a big no-no. You could not do that because everybody would look at you and say, you're so unfocused. You should really only be focused on one thing. And, now we live in the era where uh, the most successful people are running a dozen companies at once, and that looks okay, right? Like nobody frowns on that and says, oh, that's wrong. And I feel like that right there is going to keep accelerating. So if you're only doing one thing in life, you're sort of, kind of behind, because it's allowed now to do more, and the technology that is coming out will encourage more of that behavior, I feel like. And so sample restaurant is, again, this could be simple store, sample, anything. Let's say you have a business that needs booking, right, appointments. Whoopsie-doo, you can just connect, a calendar to this thing, and there it schedules things. It already schedules things. You need only collect the calendar so you can see it, right? And then you check out, you make a payment, you come in, and that's it. What more from a website does a business really want? If you come to a business and say, listen, we're just going to give you this like AI experience where customers can come and talk to this thing. You don't have to deal with sorting items. You don't have to deal with, pretty websites, none of that. What do you think merchants are going to say? All of them are going to say, yeah, yeah, sure, let's do that. And customers are going to be like, yeah, I don't need anything. Just let me talk to somebody or something that understands what I'm asking for in any language, and I'll quickly determine what I want to buy. And this thing can play the role of order taker, or it can play the role of a consultant. So if we tell it, be consultative, right? Um, when you're taking orders, give people suggestions, give them a good experience and guide them to a better purchase if one exists in your opinion. Or we can take a route and say, we're just looking for order take, right? Like no consultation, nothing. Just take an order, take an order, take an order. And I guarantee you, a few years from now, this is what websites look like. And get on the bandwagon now with us, because we're profit sharing our SaaS model with all agents. We have commission structures and we have wholesale opportunities. So that's really my product plug. But I hope that you found this webinar about AI mildly useful. And this is just kind of like an observation of how you can get involved with Chat GPT. um, and I'm gonna do more of these series to dive deeper into AI world, and give more explanations of what kind of things we do with this product, and what kind of things we are releasing on top of AI products, and what to expect in the future.